If you want psychic abilities, this could be a good vlog for you to follow. I'm not going to lie, I'm not very well researched at this moment in time on this subject, although I've had some experiences myself. I mean, spiritually, I'm very, very advanced. I've been practicing spirituality for quite a number of years now, and I have had a lot of psychic experiences. But this particular video, I want to introduce you to some chakras that you're probably not aware of yet. And they're really going to help you stimulate those psychic centers. And what I want to do is make it experimental as well, so that we can grow together. I read a lot about mysticism and like esoteric knowledge, and I'm starting to realize there's so much more in our body on a sort of energetic level, on a spiritual level, that it's just not sort of mainstream knowledge. So I'm gonna sort of blend some mysticism in with like yoga practices, well, not yoga practices, but yoga philosophy. And I'm not very well I'm not prepared for this video really, so I'm going to use my knowledge and some knowledge that I've just sort of been accumulating online, and hopefully I'll put a diagram up for you so you can see what the chakras are that I am talking about. But so basically the short end of this video is that I will be doing this daily, like twice daily. I'll be meditating and working on certain energy centers, chakras in the head, and I'll be documenting the progress as well. So if I get any visions, or if I get any sounds come in, or anything spiritual, I will let you know. But so just to so you know, I had my first clairvoyant experience when I was about 14, 15. Something happened and I was in a bit of a bad way, and then I see, like, I was in my bedroom, I was in pieces, and I see this sort of pillar of light come down in my room, open up, and 3 spirits walked through and they were 3 of my guides. And it was a little bit weird because, like, obviously I was a teenage boy going through puberty, and I was talking to 3 spirits, and they stayed with me for years. And in the end, I had to sort of say to them that this is getting a little bit weird now, because I thought I was, there was nobody that I could talk to about it. Literally, I was just on my own. I was, I'm 45 now. This is when I was 14. So I had no access to the internet, because the internet wasn't even a thing then. I didn't have access to books on the subject, so I couldn't really get any information and really sort of know what was going on. But these spirits I spoke to daily, and they helped me through a lot of things. And like, I am so grateful for them. And it was when I was about 18, maybe 19, I said, look guys, I'm talking to freaking like imaginary friends. You're gonna have to go. Like, I'll just, I need my headspace to myself. I'm a teenager, And they did. They were probably still there guiding me in the background, but they weren't as prominent. They weren't there every day. Like, I'd speak to them all day long in my mind. And so they were my 3 spirit guides at that time, and I think that experience kind of suppressed it for me. So I just because I didn't want to be I felt like I was talking to myself, even though I wasn't. But I just didn't really want that through my sort of teens and 20s. So I did ask them to leave, and they did, and then I stopped sort of speaking to them. But I'll get, as you're falling asleep and as you're waking up, your brain is in theta brainwave state, and that's a really prominent time to get visions and to get like clairaudience. And so when I'm falling asleep, a lot of the time, I've had a few experiences where I don't know if I'd call it an attack, but where I'm gonna be totally honest, where demons have come to me. I wouldn't call them demons, because when I've sort of researched trying to find the specific deities that come to me, they align more with jinn, like in Muslim culture. And actually, I'll try and find the photos that I found that resemble these entities that came to me, and they were just trying to scare me. And I literally just rolled over in my bed and just said, "Leave me alone," and that was it. They never came back. But yeah, I've got like loads of stories, but I'm not going to sort of congest this video with those. So yeah, just to say that as we're drifting off and as we're waking up, you're more susceptible to psychic impressions. And as I've woken up, I've heard Stuart. I whispered in my ear. I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" But yeah, so, and when I was doing a lot of meditating, focusing on the third eye as well, like the pineal gland, which are two separate things, by the way, but they're related. That's a good thing to bear in mind. So our third eye chakra is actually like the front of our forehead, and the pineal gland is obviously like in the middle, about that level. But they do work together, so it's good to sort of work on them separately, but at the same time, like in the same meditation. But so I was doing a lot of meditation, working on those two glands, and well, the gland and the chakra. And I was getting a lot of visions. Like I could close my eyes and literally just see, it's just random stuff. It must have been stuff from like different dimensions and stuff, because it's one of the weirdest thing that I saw, which was just hilarious, was like these really like henchmen, like muscly, ripped, but they had cartoon heads. It's just the most weird thing. So yeah, I was really coming on like clairvoyantly then, but I stopped the practice, and then it just sort of fizzled away. Every now and then I'll get visions and stuff, but I'm not in control of it, which I want to start learning to be in control of. And the same thing with the clairaudience as well. I'm not really, just things come in every now and then, but I want to develop it so that I have control over it, so that I can ask for guidance and like it will come in. And I've found some really, like, doing my research and stuff, I've found some really interesting stuff that's related to that, and it's stuff that like I can put practices of my Reiki practice where, well, it's kind of, yeah, it correlates with Reiki, but it's like a Taoist technique where I shoot energy down from below my belly button, down to is it perineum, and then up my spine, up to the back of my head, and then I push my tongue to the soft palate, just by the, is it uvula, the thing that dangles down, just in front of that. So I bridge my tongue onto the roof of my mouth, and then that will send the energy down. And this kind of correlates with what I've been researching as well. So yeah, it's interesting stuff. So if you want to like watch this series, you know, make sure you follow it, because it'd be handy for you, because you know I can actually teach you through like tried practices that I actually know work. So let's get into this. So I've separated the main chakras that I want to discuss. So we've got the two glands, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, which are quite near each other. One's just a little bit lower than the other. But they're both associated with the chakras. So a lot of my visualization techniques, which I'll tell you in future videos, will be sort of visualizing those And then obviously the Anya chakra, which is the third eye chakra, on our forehead, just above our brows. We've got a chakra which is at the back of our head, just where the I'd say it's probably just above where like the soft tissue is on the back of our head where our spine meets our skull. It's called the Bindu chakra, Bindu Visaga, to be precise. Like my research here says the Bindu acts as a cosmic drop point where light, sound, and higher wisdom pour into the system. And then we've got the Talu chakra, which is literally just where I just mentioned, just where the spine meets the skull. We've actually got a chakra in there, in our spine, where it goes up, and that is called the Talu chakra, and that is activation of subtle sound perception. So this is the one for clairaudience, and plus we've got chakras. Sorry, I don't know the name. I've not got it written here. But our audible chakras are just behind our ears. I'm pointing to the above, but this is where most people say it is. But in my experience, like it's a lot lower down. But I'll confirm that in future videos, because I'll be able to feel it when it starts coming online. But when I'm sitting in my crystal room, like the energy that's pinging around, it really affects like behind my ears, really lower down. So I'm assuming that's where the chakras are, rather than higher up. But I'll have to sort of put a bit of time into really sort of figuring that out properly. And the Talu chakra, which I've just explained, is actually stimulated by putting the tongue to the roof of the mouth, where the soft tissue is at the top. Yeah, you can just about feel it. Push your tongue back as far as you can and rest it on the roof of the mouth. That is actually stimulating the Talu chakra. And from the Taoist practice that I was doing, that actually allows the current to flow from your upper chakras down. So from your throat is really important in all of this as well, because this is like communicating with with spirits and like the divine. So we've got our throat chakra, we've got our Talu chakra, which is just basically going up the neck. It's above our throat chakra, probably maybe in line with our nose, but sort of, further back in our spine. And then the one on the back of our head, the Bindu Vaga, is it the Vaga? Visaga, sorry, Bindu Visaga, that connects with the Talu chakra. And then, so these are the chakras that I'm going to be working on, and the 2 glands, and hopefully I'll have more of a structured video on the next one. So I'm going to be doing meditation like maybe twice a day for as long as I can, to work on these chakras, to open them up, to clear them, and to see if anything starts coming through. And I'll update you guys, and I'll have a more concise video next time, so there's not all these sort of like to and fro. And hopefully we can start building up our psychic centers together. I'm just going to come back in here because I've just written down not written down, but I've just researched some clearer stuff for you to know what each is doing and how they relate together. So here's 5 psychic benefits of activating the upper chakras that I've just explained. So it's enhanced intuition, which is related to our third eye, unlocks inner vision, symbolic perception, and clairvoyance. You begin to see beyond the physical. And then the Bindu Visaga, which is at the back, that's access to divine inspiration. So the Bindu acts as a cosmic drop point where light, sound, and higher wisdom pour into the system. And then the Talu chakra, which is the one that's above our throat chakra and our spine, that you can stimulate by putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth. That is activation of subtle sound perception. This hidden gateway opens the ability to hear nada, the inner sound current, key for clairaudience. And the throat chakra is purified expression. So it aligns your communication with truth. Words become vessels for higher guidance and healing. And altogether, these are the Kundalini ascension pathway. There is lower chakras like our solar plexus chakra. That is huge in spirituality as well. So I'm going to probably incorporate that, but I just wanted to keep this video a little bit more based on our sort of higher chakras, but I will explain the solar plexus as well and the role that has in our spiritual practices. So yeah, Kundalini ascension pathway opened altogether. When these centers are aligned, prana moves upward freely, awakening dormant psychic faculties. And how they interrelate in psychic development is the Bindu Vasaga is like a spiritual antenna receiving subtle signals, and I'd say that it's emitting as well, so it's receiving and emitting, so it's like a spiritual aerial. So these signals vibrate through Talu chakra, just behind the uvula, just the bit that hangs down in our mouth, where inner sound becomes accessible. The throat chakra translates these higher impressions into clear, expressive truth. And finally, the Anya chakra, the third eye, interprets it all, turning sound and symbol into direct knowing. Together, these senses form a psychic channel from cosmic inspiration to intuitive realization and clear expression. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Cheers, guys.